Well, hello everyone. This is Sharon Rivet, and thank you so much for joining your slow flow practice today. And just a little information about what we'll be practicing in our sequence is we are starting to move into the fall season. That's, traditionally one of our four seasons. Depending on where you are, as some of you know, here in the Northeast up at Albany, New York, and we've been having 80-degree days. We have been having today, it's just foggy and, going around 48 to 53. It's kind of miserable, which is typical fall. But from the Ayurvedic, so for those that have been in my classes before, we've brought into some of our sessions Ayurvedic practices. And today I wanted to talk about and share with you some Ayurvedic practices for the season of Vata. So we're moving into the Vata season. As a reminder, Ayurvedic only has 3 seasons. Vata being usually November through February. Then we move into the Kapha season, which is March to probably right around the beginning of June. And then we go into Pitta, which is our summer season. So today we will be practicing the sequence to support Vata. So what happens to us in Vata season? We get cold, and because we're cold, we get stiff. So our practice is going to either having us go into a pose and hold it for several breaths so that we generate heat, or we'll stay in the pose and do some different movements. Also in the Vata season, we can tend to be ungrounded because it's cold. The air is moving all over. So I'll give you a couple hand mudras and things that can support helping you feel grounded. And then finally, which I won't be doing in this session, is talking about the diet for Vata. I'll just give a little taste, play on words here. But Ann and I were just talking about how I'm going to write a couple paragraphs for the newsletter. And in that newsletter, you are going to have this winter grocery list. So Ayurvedic practices eating for the season. So eating for the season typically means that we eat, for example, what fruits and vegetables are grown in that season based on where you live. So here in the Northeast, we don't really grow tomatoes or lettuce. We import them from other states. And from an Ayurvedic perspective, we really should be just eating what is in our area. So for us, it would be root vegetables. For people in Florida, you may have tomatoes and lettuce. We just don't have it here. So I'll be sharing that in the newsletter so that you can take a look to see if it interests you. But a lot of what we eat in the winter, just because we know that we want soups and stews and things to warm us up, you'll see that on here. You'll see that we want heavier foods, foods that nourish us, foods with higher protein and fats so that it helps us stay warm. So with that, I will move my chair back and start us out at our practice. So remembering today is a slow flow. You can come down to your mats and we will be coming up and off the mat, but I've tried to keep it so that we spend some time on the mat in the beginning. Then we'll come up and stand and then end with some cooling down poses and then Shavasana. So let's come to whatever comfortable seat is for you. And we're going to start out with, I mentioned a hand mudra, and it's called Bhu Mudra, B-H-U. And to come into this mudra, you just bring your hands into the peace sign, really. If you remember, peace sign. And you can either bring the two fingers onto your thighs or down onto the floor beside you. And the Bhu Mudra is to help us find stability, to help ground us and calm us. So as we arrive at our practice today, using Bhu Mudra to help bring us into the practice fully, I invite you to either close your eyes or soften your gaze, bringing it down onto the floor. We're bringing our gaze down into the floor, imagining that we're anchoring to the earth. And we'll begin by taking a full deep breath in, inhaling, expanding your belly, ribs, chest, and exhale, releasing. Inhaling belly, ribs, chest, exhale, releasing. Inhaling all the way up, and this time softly blow out your breath. Inhaling, 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 pursing your lips, softly blowing out your exhale. Come into this flow for 3 times on your own. When you come through your 3rd cycle, bringing the palms one on top of the other at heart center. If you'd like to set an intention for today's practice or for your week, I invite you to do that now. It could be something as simple as saying, I will stay present during practice today. I will remember to breathe. He's bringing our hands down onto our knees. So a lot of what we're going to do today is come into circles. So just some nice easy circles here are ways that we can keep our joints fluid, especially as we move into Vata, going in the opposite direction. I know I can speak for myself that the colder it gets, especially if I've been outside, I feel quite stiff when I wake up in the morning. So you can take any little piece of these poses, asanas we do today, coming back to center. And then we'll do some shoulder rolls. So bring your shoulders up, back and around. Just a nice fluid motion. Finding ways to keep our synovial fluid moving as it becomes cold and in the opposite direction. And actually, for anyone that lives in an area where it's warm, sometimes you need this even with air conditioner. And release. And then bringing your forearms together, interlacing your fingers. We'll just do some figure eights here. Hands going in the opposite direction. Some of these you may recognize from the dasha chalanas that we practice in chair yoga. And release, and then just shake out your arms, shake out your hands. Make fists and open. Fists and open, and do that a few times. fingers, especially outside in winter, the cooler weather, tend to get nice and stiff even with gloves on, and then release. So now we're going to bring some movement to our hips here with a leg cradle. So I'll show you bringing your leg up and then just doing this. If that's not comfortable, keep it down low and just let it go back and forth. So find where your comfort level is. You can do movements all different ways here. We're just trying to get fluid around that hip and warmth and energy. And release that one. You can bring up your other leg and this on the opposite side. So this is where many of us find, oh, I'm tighter on that side than the other side. So it's always just good to know, because you might want to give a little extra love to any area that is consistently tight. And release. And then extending your legs out. I'm just going to move my blanket here. And bring your arms behind you. And windshield wiper your feet back and forth. So my feet are going like this. I realize I don't think you can see. So get my back up a little. And bring your feet to stillness. We're going to point and flex. So point your toes towards me and flex them back towards you. Point and flex. Going back and forth. So in the Vata season, and now make some circles. Some of the common places that we might feel tension or some low ache is in our hips, our low back, legs, and that's because in the opposite direction, Vata is all associated with that part of our body. Believed from Ayurvedic science that that's where Vata typically resides. And then come all the way up, legs extended into staff pose. Toes very lightly flexed. We'll take an inhale, sweeping your arms all the way up. And exhale, slowly bringing them down to the earth. Inhale, palms up, and if you'd like to raise your chin, looking up towards your hands. And as you exhale, dropping your chin towards heart center. More inhale, sweeping your arms up. Exhale, chin towards heart center. We'll sweep our arms up to the sky. And then very gently twisting over towards the left. So you can bring that right hand on your left thigh. And once you get here, take an inhale, imagine your crown of your head is going up towards the sky. And as you exhale, twisting at the waist. Inhale, extending. Exhale, twisting. And then when you get to that place where it's a nice twist for you, just breathe into it. Feel your spine gently twisting. On your next inhale, unwinding, floating your arms up to the sky and coming over towards the right. Taking an inhale to extend, exhale to twist, inhale and exhale. And finding gentle twist all around your spine muscles. On your next inhale, reaching up to the sky. And then coming forward and bringing your hands wherever they're comfortable to start Maybe it's just on your thighs or just below your knees. And stay here for a moment, gazing out over your toes down to the floor. Let's get back to that anchor of the earth. It is steeped in nature, Mother Earth. That the earth, Mother Earth, is nourishing. She gives us stability, solidity. And take an inhale and begin to fold forward, if like, finding once again that place we're getting a stretch. And then slowly bringing your hands all the way back up, bending your knees and making your way into table. So cat-cow is, I don't care what season it is, for me personally, I think it's one of the best poses and used by physical therapists, especially if you have back issues, to really loosen up our spines. So we'll come into table with your hands, wrists, and elbows under shoulders, your knees hip width apart. And on an inhale, dropping your belly, curling your tailbone, looking up. On an exhale, chin to chest, rolling your tailbone down, pressing up into cat. Inhale, moving into cow. And exhale into cat. And going through a few cycles of cat-cow at your own pace, at your own breath flow, and giving your back and spine what it needs. So maybe it needs a little extra care where you're not going so far into the pose. And the next time you come through cat, coming directly into table, and walking your right hand more towards the middle. On an inhale, sweeping your left arm up, and then we're going to thread it through underneath your right arm, coming down on your left cheek, extending that right arm forward. And breathing. Next inhale, walking your right hand back, pressing all the way back up. Take 2 cat-cows here, just to release. So Vata season, our practices are often on the mat. So we're closer to the earth, closer to being grounded. Walking your left hand towards the middle, sweeping your right hand up, and gently threading all the way through, extending your left arm forward, coming into thread the needle. Inhale, pressing all the way up, and taking a few cat-cows. You get it to work. And then curling your toes, walking your hands all the way back. We're going to walk our hands up to our thighs. And we're just going to stay here for a few breaths. So this is stretching Achilles tendon, stretching feet, pose that most people don't like. It's just giving attention to every part of our body here. And then slowly releasing. And if you want to just pat out your toes here, we'll walk our hands back to our knees again, curling your toes. Coming up, putting your hands on your shins. As we come into a nice straight back here. And then slowly with your hands still on your shins or thighs, folding forward. Inhale, coming up to a straight back. Imagine your crown of your head is shooting forward. And exhale, folding forward. Do that one more time. Inhale, floating up. Exhale, floating forward. Bending your knees as you sweep all the way up. Hands at heart center as you come into mountain pose. So as we come into our mountain pose, and our gaze once again to be down towards the floor, towards earth. Your feet are pressed in. So you want to, if you can, be on all four corners, and the way you can check that is raise up your 10 toes and you'll feel the four corners of your feet. And release. Fingertips reaching towards the earth, tailbone down. Standing strong in our mountain pose. Breathing. And then if you're comfortable, you want to close your eyes just for a moment so you can feel the difference with your eyes open and closed. You may feel a little more stable with open eyes and feel a little bit like you're swaying with your eyes closed. But as we bring our attention down to our feet and the earth, we can once again feel grounded and stable. And we'll take an inhale. Exhale, opening your eyes if they were closed. And then coming to the front of your mat. So let me use my blocks because in a Vata practice, we want to generate warmth. And one of the ways we can do that, as I mentioned, is holding our poses or flowing in and out of a pose. So today we're going to use blocks. And I have mine at the highest level. You can have them at any level, just so that you know you can bend fully forward. We'll take an inhale, sweeping our arms up to the sky. And as we exhale, folding forward, bringing your hands down onto the blocks. Inhale, coming up to a nice straight back. Exhale, folding forward, bending your knees as you sweep all the way up. Bringing your hands through to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, folding forward. Coming into a nice straight back here. Releasing into the forward fold, bending your knees, sweeping all the way up. Hands floating through heart center. We'll come through that one more time. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, folding forward. Straight back. Exhale, folding forward. And coming back up to a nice straight back once again. And this time bringing your right leg back for a low lunge. Nice low lunge here, your back leg is strong. And we're Going to drop our right knee down, and you can walk your blocks back. You're pressing forward so you can feel on that left hip, right where your thigh meets your pelvis area. Nice stretch there in your hip flexors. Breathing, holding. And now we'll take an inhale and float yourself back, straightening out your front leg. And then float forward again. Inhale, floating back. Exhale, floating forward. Inhale, floating back, holding. And then you can point and flex your foot here. And breathe. Next time your foot comes up, come back with that foot down to the earth. Pressing up on your blocks to come back into your low lunge. And then pressing off or inching your way up, coming into forward fold. Bending your knees as you sweep all the way up. Hands at heart center. Inhale and exhale. We'll come to that flow on the opposite side, so sweeping up, rolling forward. Flat back, releasing your left leg back for low lunge. Nice strong leg here. Down onto that left knee and coming forward so that you feel that stretch in that hip flexor. Breathing. And inhale. Come back, your front leg is forward and up. And then come into that flow again, so flowing back and forth with your breath. Just little movements here to help keep our energy moving. And come back. Point and flex your foot. Breathing. Releasing that foot down. Back into your low lunge. Getting your nice strong foundation before you either press off or walk yourself forward and forward fold. Bending your knees, sweeping all the way up with hands at heart center. And take a moment here. Just notice what you may or may not be feeling in your physical body. It may be energy running through. It may be you're starting to generate some warmth. There's no need to say, oh, she's warm, I'm not. You're really just looking and bringing awareness to yourself so that if you come into this practice the next time, maybe you need to move a little faster or move a little slower. You don't want to be sweating. You just want to have some warmth. And then releasing back into mountain pose. We'll take an inhale to sweep all the way up. And exhale coming into chair pose. Into chair. Pressing all the way back up, opening your arms wide. Inhale back into chair pose. Exhale, opening your arms wide. Inhale, back into chair pose with hands at heart center. And then we'll take an easy twist over to the left. A breath here. Coming back through center, over to the right here. Through center, pressing all the way up, opening your arms wide. Take an inhale. Exhale. Releasing your arms back to mountain pose. Sweep out to the sky, folding forward. Step our left foot back, but you're not too far back. It's like maybe you're on skis. Coming into pyramid pose. Hands on the block so you can stay right here with a nice straight back. Or you can start to bend your elbows and bring your head towards your knees. Inhale, coming up to a straight back. And exhale, bending your elbows, nose. And if you're at the straight back, just stay there. You're using your breath to generate more time. Holding, breathing. Inhale, pressing up to flat back, and if you're already there, you're just going to take maybe one step back because we're going to come into warrior one. Bringing your hands to your right thigh, pressing up. Bending that knee, leaving your right hand on your right thigh, and reaching all the way up. So Vata, as I mentioned, is associated with movement, but it's also associated with touch. So just like Mudra, anytime you're starting to feel unstable, if you bring your hand to your thigh or your waist, it often helps calm us. Inhale. Exhale, now bringing that right hand up to the sky. Reaching, shoulders are down. Breathing. Letting your hands float through heart center. And then turning your toes towards the long edge of your mat. And bringing your hands to your waist. So we're going to do a forward fold here. So if you want your block, you can take your block and bring it with you. First, we'll open our hearts up towards the sky, the universe. And gently start to fold forward. Let's say you can bring your hands to a block if you want a block. You're going to walk your hands just outside your mat. And we'll come into that Bhu Mudra again. So bringing your hands into the peace sign. Placing those two fingertips right onto the earth. Or onto your block. As we fold forward. Breathing. Bending your knees, hands to your thighs. Gently bringing yourself up. Sweeping up to the sky. With hands at heart center. And then turning to the opposite side, bringing your blocks with you. So your left foot comes to the front in between the blocks. Your right foot goes into that shorter stance to bring you right back into flat back and pyramid pose. Again, you can stay right here and just take the breaths to help ground and bring some warmth and energy. Or you can take an inhale, exhale, fold your head forward. Up. Inhale forward, exhale. Inhale forward, exhale up. One more inhale, folding forward, holding, breathe. Pressing all the way up, walking that back foot just back a little bit so you can begin to come into warrior one, bending your left knee, both hands to the left thigh. Pressing up, keeping your left hand on your left thigh as you reach your right hand up. If you're feeling a little wobbly, you can take that left foot and just heel toe it out more towards the left. Just had to do that myself. Breathing. Now bring the opposite arm all the way up, reaching, breathing. Releasing hands through heart center. Turning your toes to the edge of the mat, long edge. Hands at your waist, opening once again. And folding forward. Hands either on the block or on the mat. We'll walk our hands over to the left. You can put one hand on top of the other, on top of the foot, or take, wrap around your calf or your ankle. Just try to get a little stretch here. Coming back through center, the opposite side. All the way back through center, bending your knees, hands to your thighs, as you press all the way up, sweeping up, reaching, bringing hands to heart center, and then you can heel toe your feet together or press back up into mountain pose. Gazing down at the earth, checking in with yourself. With your breath. Is it even? Is it feeling a little jagged? If it's feeling jagged, just take a nice deep inhale. Blowing it out through pursed lips. Inhale. To stillness. And releasing, we'll come into tree pose, asana, which is the pose that grounds us to the earth. So you can come into any variation, kickstand, use a block, come right up on. So I'm stepping off onto my floor because my mat's a little thick. So I like to bring my hands through heart center. As we prepare, I want to lightly bring your navel into your spine to help bring stability. And find a place where you can gaze to keep your concentration, your focus, your drishti, and pressing into your left foot, bringing your right leg up and coming into any variation. So you can kickstand with toes on the floor, kickstand on a block to your thigh. You can bring your foot to your thigh or to your calf, just not on your knee. And then if you would like, you can extend your arms up, foot connected to the earth, hands reaching up towards the universe. Breathing. Inhale. Exhale, slowly releasing. And breathe. So I'm bringing my block to the other side because I do not have good balance on that side. And once again, finding your foundation, navel to spine, getting your drishti, your focus, pressing into your right foot, bringing your left up, and to how you're going to practice. Well, we like to say we're going to practice the same on each side. Not always possible. So find what works for you. And your connection. On your next inhale, bring hands to heart center, exhaling, releasing. And then we'll come into some hip circles here just to release out everything. All of our standing poses give us balance and warmth and connection, going in the opposite direction as we breathe. And just walking our feet together again into mountain pose Tadasana. Stretching into the four corners of your feet, lifting those 10 toes. Releasing your 10 toes and getting your gaze anchored either to the earth or softening your eyes. You soften them in the beginning, just checking if there's any difference from starting practice to this point in the practice. Gently open our eyes if they were closed and sweep up to the sky. Hands to our thighs as we slowly bring our hands down our thighs, bending our knees, hands to the earth, stepping back into table pose. You bring your two big toes together, walking your knees out. And then pressing down into child's pose. Pressing into softness. Letting the earth support you. You don't have to hold anything, let her hold you. Taking deep, full breaths here. Walking yourself back into table and come into a nice, easy seat. Let's do a short breath technique. And this is called Surya Bandhana. And it is a way to help us generate some warmth. So it's a wonderful thing to use in the winter. And we'll do it with using our fingers, but you can also do it, it's called psychic breath work. So you can imagine it. So if you are somewhere and you are very chilly, you can actually imagine you are doing this without using your hands, and it actually will help warm you up. So with Surya Bandhana, we're going to be inhaling through our right nostril, exhaling left, inhaling right, exhaling left. And that's the whole flow. So our right side is the side that is known for the sun, which will generate heat for us. Whereas if we did it the opposite way, that's our moon side, the left, and that brings coolness. So bring our hands using your thumb and your ring and pinky fingers, and I'll take off my glasses here. Some people with these two fingers, the index and middle finger, they like to leave them resting on the just above between their eyebrows or bending them. So whatever is comfortable for you, but we'll take a few breaths and then I'll guide you into the practice. So take an inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, now sealing and blocking your left nostril. Exhaling out your right. Now we'll begin. Inhale right, seal your right, exhale left. Seal left, inhale right, seal right, exhale left. Seal left, inhale right, exhale left. Seal, inhale right, exhale left, and go through 5 rounds on your own. The 5th round, release your hands. Just take 2 more on your own without using your hands so you can get that sense of psychic breathing. Breath. And we'll come down onto our backs or wherever you practice Shavasana. So if there's anything you need for Shavasana, socks or a little blanket, we're just gonna do a couple of stretches here on the floor. And bringing knees in and taking a few circles in both directions. Feet down to the mat and letting your knees fall over to the left. back through center, over to the right. Take a few windshield wipes side to side. Come through center, hugging in your knees one more time. Releasing your feet back down and coming into your pose for Shavasana. So it could be legs extended with palms up, or bent knees, or on your side. Just finding your resting pose. Your place of relaxation and surrender. Now beginning to let yourself gently come back from Shavasana. Sensing the space around you. Feeling your breath flowing in and flowing out. Gently moving your fingers and your toes. And then if you're still lying on your mat, coming over to your side. Taking a full breath in. Releasing as you press up to seated. Bringing hands to heart center, softening your eyes. Listening to this quote about autumn, Vata. Autumn is a doorway towards the new season, a chance to make space for what is next, a time to stop, listen, and realign, a time to set an intention to carry you through the cooler months. So bowing your head, thanking the light and the teacher within you. Thanking yourself for carving out this time for self-care, self-compassion, and recalling any intentions you might have set for today. Raising your head. If you'd like to chant the sound of Om, the sound of yogis across the world, take a full breath in. Om. Om, peace, Om. May you have peace in your hearts. May all beings have peace. And may we share that peace with each other. Thank you for joining me. Peace, peace. Thank you, everyone, for joining today.